Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unit 2 of Regents Chemistry, which is Atomic Concepts. We'll just be talking about atoms. So today our topic is just a quick introduction to what atom is. So let's assume that we are looking at a neighborhood. Okay, and in this neighborhood, we have a group of people who are very good. They are very positive people. They do all the good stuff out there, and they call themselves pros at doing all the good things, keeping everyone happy, just like taking care of everyone, all that good stuff. So these positive people, because they consider themselves pros at everything, they are called the protons. And then we have some people who sometimes do bad stuff, so they are overall considered like very negative people. And these people kind of just like live around like everywhere across the town, with the like around the positive people. And these people, the reason why they do bad stuff is because they think that bad stuff is very cool. So they think they're very electric, they're very cool. So they call themselves the electrons. And then there's also like a third group of people that live in this neighborhood, and those people are kind of in the middle. So sometimes they do good things, sometimes they do bad things. They don't specifically belong to either the very very good side or very very bad side. So these people are just neutral. They're in the middle, and they are called the neutrons. And when it comes to where do they live, well, they prefer to live with the positive people, with the good people, because they want everyone else to think that they are good as well. So they also live right here in the middle with the positive people. Okay, so this center where the positive people and the neutral people, the protons and neutrons, live together is called the nucleus of this neighborhood. And right here, ladies and gentlemen, you have your atom. So in an atom, we have a nucleus in the center where we have the protons that carry a positive charge, and we have neutrons that don't have any charge, they are neutral. And then electrons revolve around the nucleus, and they carry a negative charge. So atoms are generally considered the building blocks of everything out there, all type of matter that we see in this universe. So atoms make up every single thing that we see around us, including us. So as we discussed, there are three subatomic particles, the protons, neutrons, and electrons that we just looked at. Those are the subatomic particles of an atom. And if we have to identify an atom, then we do that based on the number of protons in the nucleus. So if we have 4 protons in the nucleus, that's one type of element. If we have 5 protons in a nucleus, then that's another type of element. So when we have a neutral atom, which means if the overall charge of the atom is just neutral, it's nothing, it's zero, it's not positive, it's not negative, it's just zero, then that means we have equal numbers of protons and neutrons. So if you have 4 protons in an atom and it's a neutral atom, then that means that atom is also going to have 4 electrons. But if you add or subtract any protons from that atom, then you basically just change the atom itself. Now we are looking at a completely different element. But if you add or take out an electron, then that just changes the charge, because electrons carry a negative charge. So if you add an electron, then the atom is going to now become a negative ion. And if you remove an electron, the atom is now going to become a positive ion. We will talk more about the ions in a few topics, but for now, just know that adding an electron means that we are increasing the negative charge, so that's a negative ion, and removing an electron means decreasing the negative charge, so that becomes a positive ion. So in the atom, we have this nuclear charge, which is basically the charge on the nucleus, and it is normally positive. Why? Because remember, our nucleus has the protons, which have a positive charge, and the nucleus has neutrons, which don't have any charge. So basically, the charge of the nucleus just depends on the protons. So whatever number of protons you have, the charge on the nucleus is going to be plus the number of protons. So if you have 4 protons, the charge on the nucleus is going to be positive 4. If you have 6 protons, nuclear charge is going to be plus 6. But the atomic charge is when the charge on the atom overall. So this is based on the number of the protons compared to the number of the electrons. So if you have the same number, then ideally that is a neutral atom. But if you have more electrons, it's a negative ion. If you have less electrons, it's a positive ion. Now, when it comes to talking about the mass of an atom, well, the mass of an atom is very, 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 very small, which is why we cannot use the regular unit for mass. So remember when we were talking about the SI units in Unit 1, we said that the standard unit for mass is grams. But we cannot use that for the atom because the mass of the atom is very, very small. So we have replaced that unit with atomic mass unit, which is basically just comparing the mass of any atom with a standard. And we have established carbon as a standard. So carbon has 6 protons and it has 6 neutrons. So we say that one atomic mass unit is basically just 1/12 of the mass of carbon, because overall the mass 6 protons plus 6 neutrons gives us 12. So we just say that one atomic mass unit is 1/12 of whatever mass of carbon is. So here's a quick breakdown of pretty much everything that we have discussed so far. Protons have a charge of +1 if you're talking about one proton only, and protons are normally located in the nucleus, and they have a mass of 1 atomic mass unit. Neutrons have 0 charge. They are neutral. They do not have any charge, and they're also located in the nucleus, and they also have a mass of 1 atomic mass unit. Electrons have a charge of -1. They are located outside the nucleus in their orbits or orbitals. We'll talk more about that in future topics. Um, and the mass of electron is 1 over 1,836 atomic mass unit. You guys do not need to memorize this. Just remember that when we do this math, it turns out to be a very, 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 very small number. So we normally just say that the mass of electron is big, kind of 0 atomic mass unit compared to the protons and neutrons, which means that electrons are super, 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 super small compared to the protons and the neutrons. And protons and neutrons have the same mass. They have a mass of 1 atomic mass unit. Finally, let's get some of the questions to review that even further. So if, let's say, we are looking at oxygen, which has 8 protons, how many electrons will it have? So remember we said that in a neutral atom, number of protons is equal to the number of electrons. So because this question is not telling you that this is an ion, which means we are talking about a neutral atom. So because oxygen has 8 protons, this is going to have 8 electrons as well. Now, if you're looking at nitrogen that has 7 protons, but it has 8 electrons, what charge will it have? So we have 1 extra electron. Remember, electrons are negative. So if we have 1 extra negative charge, that means overall charge will be -1. If you're looking at magnesium, it has 12 protons and 10 electrons. Now we have less electrons, 2 less electrons. So remember, electrons are negative. So if we are taking out 2 of those negative charges, then the overall charge is going to be +2. Alrighty, so that was it for the first part of this chapter. Happy learning. I'll see you guys in the next one.